Hello and welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. We have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start with the Boston Red Sox. It's the All-Star break, and everybody is whining. I saw a picture, I don't know if you guys saw that, with JD Martinez, Raphael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, Benintendi, and Betts, and everybody was getting sentimental. Wait. First of all, am I supposed to get sentimental about Andrew Benintendi now too?
Who only went to the All-Star game because no one else in Kansas City is any good at all.
What's he hitting? What's he hitting now? What am I missing?
About 245.
No. Actually, Joe, he has a high average at like 315, but 3 homers and 35 RBIs. I mean, he's a fourth outfielder in major leagues. Like you said, Joe, there weren't any guys in Kansas City that were upright. He was the only one who could stand for more than 5 minutes, so they sent him to the All-Star.
You have to have one guy from each team, and he
looked pretty good in a Red Sox uniform right now.
You think Benintendi
look a lot better than JBJ or Christian Arroyo in right field?
Yeah. Okay, I will absolutely give you that. But Benintendi, nobody misses that production. And why all of a sudden are we starting to revisit the Mookie Betts deal again?
Yeah, I'll take Verdugo over Benintendi, to tell you the truth.
Oh, absolutely.
I think there's way more upside.
Yeah, Verdugo's a better player than Benintendi. Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think Verdugo has upside, and Verdugo likes to play. Benintendi had like the JD Drew disease. He really didn't like baseball.
As long as the check clears, I'm good. Yeah.
And he looked like he'd gotten bored with everything, and he'd gone as far as he wanted to go, and he was happy right there. He wasn't going to try to improve anymore.
Okay, so Mookie Betts has said this. I don't know why they keep on asking him questions about Boston, but now it's come out. Alex Spears said that Mookie said had he been offered the same deal that he received from the Dodgers, he would have accepted that for the Red Sox. Do we believe him?
It didn't seem that way. It didn't seem that way at the time. It looked like the Red Sox were trying to offer the same amount, but he and his agent were rejecting that and had moved on.
I had kind of seen those kind of rumblings for years with different people that were looking to get out of Boston, and it was almost like he was going by that exact same playbook. The first time they asked him, "Hey, what do you think about coming back?" and they said, "Well, we'll see. We're waiting till then to we're waiting for 4 months from now to start even talking about it." That's like the first sign they're gone.
And we know the Red Sox history is to lowball these guys.
And Alex Spears' column seems to bear that out this week.
Yeah, so Rafael Devers, now again, I want to stress to Red Sox fans, a lot of people are confused. Rafael Devers is not a free agent until next year.
Yeah.
after the 23 season. With all the hullabaloo, you would think it was after this season. Devers said he was offered, apparently rumors are that he was offered a deal similar to Matt Chapman, who is actually a reach for me to actually even know who Matt Chapman is, ends up being about a $21 million deal. That is, in the world of baseball, for Raphael Devers, an insult.
Now, do you think the Red Sox worry that he's they're sticking a wedge in their relationship with him by doing that? It's a little insulting, really.
Yeah, well, look, they're only going to go to the well, these guys, so long, and then they're going to say, "Well, we'll play it out like Aaron Judge is doing. We'll play it out and we'll go to free agency, and then we'll see what all the other teams have to say."
Yeah, the Yankees offered him $30 million a year for 7 years, and he said no. He'll be like Soto, $40 million a year.
But here's what I was thinking today, boys. Aaron Judge looks like he may leave the Yankees. In fact, yesterday in an interview, he almost had his foot out the door. Nationals say they can't pay Soto any more than $30 million a year.
They offered him 45, right?
No, they offered him
450 over 10 years.
15 years. It was a 15-year deal. So that's a 30 million over. So
a 15-year deal.
15-year
450 million guaranteed.
Yeah, 30,
people are
right.
throwing out 15-year deals right
But
now.
my question to you guys is, we're talking about 3 mega stars in baseball, arguably 3 of the top 10 players in baseball. But yet it seems to be that the owners are colluding and saying the cap is going to be 30 million. What do you think of that?
Well, they've already been paying the shortstops 35, Lindor and Baez and them. They're getting 35.
But they don't
want
the Red Sox.
If you're the Red Sox, do you make a chart and you assign a dollar amount to each position? You say, and you look at formulas for winning teams, and you look at your revenues, and Boston has to be up on the top of the revenue stream. I mean, we're paying I believe we pay the highest price tickets in.
Yeah, that's what I sent you. That
highest
it's a smaller
average,
ballpark, but they're throwing 5,000-7,000 seats every year into that place. Every year they're increasing the capacity. The concessions, I can't imagine anyone in the country is paying more than we are. Maybe New York, perhaps.
I don't think anyone's even close, Jim.
I know, for the tickets, the concessions, the parking, all of the revenue that they have coming in.
And now, Timmy,
I can't stand the fact that they cannot play the poor sisters thing. You know what I mean?
Timmy, what do they get? 38,000 now, which, if they built a new stadium, they don't really build new stadiums any more than 40,000 seats anymore.
Yeah, because they want those tickets to be some type of demand to have a ticket, right?
So we have come up, obviously we're not at the Yankees stadium level, but we have come up to pretty much what most stadiums hold. Like you said, keep on adding all the seats.
Yeah.
The Red Sox, when you take into account Nesson and all the other stuff, probably are second or third to maybe the Yankees and the Dodgers in revenue each year. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
They have.
And
maybe San Fran, I don't know. Are they making that kind of money?
And
it all depends. If you own, like Nesson, the Yankees own Yes, and the Red Sox own Nesson, having that automatically puts you at the top of the heap.
But I'll tell you what, I lose interest pretty quick in the Red Sox if they're not winning.
Because we have the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Patriots that generally are winning to.
Look, the only team that everybody will watch, Boston sports fans will watch the Patriots, even if they're 2-14, and the last game of the season, we'll still watch the game.
Because your Sundays are reserved for football.
That's how it's always worked that way. But the other 3 sports, they don't get that love.
And wait, one of the big reasons too is the gambling aspect of the NFL. There could be the 2 worst teams in the NFL could be playing, and everyone's got $50 on somebody.
Yeah, no, right. Absolutely.
Or they have 3 fantasy players involved in the game, and they're keeping track of them.
But I'm talking historically. We've all watched every. Joe has always brag that he's watched every Patriots game since the 60s.
So have you become
since day one, since the first game, I've at least heard every
is
single
John
game.
Henry saying, "Hey, I brought the city 4 championships. I owe them nothing. They're just a line item now." That's how it kind of feels to me right now.
Well, it does. And, they could have taken the initiative with Devers and it would have been a lot cheaper. They could have signed him last year. Look, some of these teams like San Diego at Tatis and what I think Guerrero too in Toronto, these teams took the initiative. They signed these guys to big 10, 12-year deals and got a reduced price. The Red Sox didn't do that, and now it's going to cost them.
I mean, we all see what Devers is. He's a cornerstone player, right? I mean, this guy's
one of the best hitters in the history of the Boston Red Sox. Would you agree with that?
He's proven it now. He's not a flash in the pan. This guy's a legit player, and he's gonna get what he's gonna get. So you got to look at guys like him, what they're getting, and you're gonna have to give it to him. But he's out the door.
Yeah, I think you can build a team and a lineup around a guy like Devers.
I think with Heim, if you're gonna get all stats with you, he's not a good third baseman. Okay, if this is a home we want to buy, but we want to trash the home so we don't have to pay so much, and we start talking about stuff at the home, the living room's not that big, he's a terrible third baseman. Would you agree?
Well, you don't put your best fielders at third base either. Generally the position doesn't have the best glove men. It's guys that couldn't cut it at shortstop or second.
If you're running the team, where do you put him in the field?
If I'm running a team, the Boston Red Sox, taking into account the left field, the Green Monster, and I've seen guys like Brian Daubek play left field a lot of games. I put Devers in left field, and I'm very happy.
So left fielders make less than third baseman?
No, he would make just as much.
Yeah, Mike Trout's making a fortune. Mike Trout's in the outfield, right? I mean,
I'm just talking about what they're trying to.
So what? But what Chaim Bloom is trying to do is saying we don't want to pay him like a third baseman. We want to pay him like, I don't get the logic here. I don't understand this.
Well, look, there's parts of the evaluation of him saying he's not. I'm just telling you, I'm not buying this. I'm telling you what they're saying internally.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Tim, what Chaim is saying to Devers is, we think you're going to be a DH or first baseman within a year or two, and so you're not worth paying, a real position player's price.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, though. What does the rest of the league believe? It doesn't matter what Chaim believes. Yeah. It's what 5 other teams with checkbooks think of Devers.
Chaim might not believe that, but that's what he's saying in negotiations.
Exactly. But they're also saying, now this is what I thought last year. I said, the only reason I think that they may not try to sign him to a big deal is that he has a tendency to gain weight. And that they thought that, if you remember, he was a Pillsbury Doughboy a couple of years ago.
And a lot of baby fat. Another Pablo Sandoval.
So they thought that all of a sudden you pay him, and then he's going to
get lazy.
Vasquez, he comes back 30 pounds overweight, or JD Martinez. So I think these are legitimate concerns, but I think he's answered all of them in the last year. Wouldn't you say?
I agree. I agree with you.
I don't know though. Maybe they know it's a lot of money to commit to a guy who you have questions about his conditioning, and does he give you any indication that he could, once he gets that deal, he kind of gets off the diet and starts going to IHOP a little bit more? I don't know.
Yeah, baseball contracts are guaranteed for the full 10 years.
Look, but if you're going to invest in anyone, it's Raphael Devers. You have to have.
I agree.
Yeah. So look, what's a good number? You want to sew him up for at least 10 years, right? I mean, 8 to 10.
So I don't know. My point is, I look at that money. What's the number, Scott?
I think
10 years, 400 million.
Well, I think that, look, if you're going to give a guy 10 years, you're not going to give him also 40.
So I'm looking around. I'm saying, I'm going to have to give that to somebody if I want Red Sox fans to come and fill these stands and I want to be competitive, right? Is he the best guy out there to give 400 million to?
Yes.
Is there somebody else who I believe in a little bit more? I don't know.
There's always Aaron Judge for about the same price, Tim. If you want to go down that path.
Who would you take? Aaron Judge being a little older. Who would you take right now for the next 10 years? Aaron Judge or Devers?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And they bat from different sides of the plate. Judge might be a better bet for Fenway Park.
Yep. He's really tall, and that would he'd be more susceptible to injury.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's anybody outside of the norm. We talk about Mookie Betts being too small, right, Timmy? Like a Dustin Pedroia.
Judge is a little lanky. You're right.
Breaking down. Now all of a sudden we talk about a guy who we've never seen a guy other than a pitcher play a position for that long at that height.
So who would you go with, Scotty?
I would go with Devers. I seriously, I think that Devers is the quintessential hitter. I think he has one of the most beautiful swings I've seen, and he seems to be a real a student of the game and of hitting. I just love his approach at the plate.
And you can throw him if he's got crappy hitters around him, like a crappy leadoff man in front of you, like Kike, was to start the year. He can hit a bad ball. You throw the balls out of the zone, he'll hit them.
And he hits great pitching. You cannot let Devers go by. Really, to be honest with you, I'm not going to say it's the end of the franchise. I think that, like Timmy said, I think you lose about 40% of your fan base if you let a Raphael Devers go.
Yeah, so what I like about Devers is it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. He hits great pitchers as well.
These righties, you know.
And he's a clutch guy too. He comes through a clutch. Look,
he's
Judge,
not a rally killer.
Judge has a lot of.
Yeah, let's do the old Benjamin Franklin. Why not? Right? He's got a good, I would say, a positive body type that we're looking for. A big, durable guy who's not susceptible.
He's been dependable.
That's a plus. So he's got that over Judge. Judge with that height. We don't know how he's going to hold up. So I guess it's Devers if you're doing a plus minus list here, right?
Yeah, and if you don't sign Devers, you like Timmy, you've talked about, then you really have become Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, then you're.
And Xander's pretty much gone. Are we agreed on that?
Now we go to Xander Bogaerts. Great transition, Timmy. Look, if you don't now, Xander has a no trade clause. So we'll know pretty quickly in the next, probably week, whether Xander's going to be leaving town anytime soon. Is because if he agrees to allow himself to be traded, he's out of here, right?
Oh, instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're sellers now. We're sellers.
That's a great question. Look, maybe the Patriots opening training camp later in the week helps the Red Sox be sellers, right?
Yeah, it's like the NFL. They dump everything on the Friday before July 4th weekend.
Fire everybody on Friday.
Yeah.
I think actually you can be, to be honest with you, I was hoping that Sale, and we'll talk about Nana and Chrissy in a little bit, but I think you can trade a Michael Walker if he has value and a Rich Hill and still compete. Wouldn't you agree?
Who's going to take Walker or Rich Hill? They're both on the injured list, and they both.
But Walker's coming back, I think, this week, Joe.
He's got a dead arm. That's not a good sign.
No, but if Walker shows, and he's been one of the top pitchers in
he was, yeah. But then he got terrible all of a sudden, sort of like Pavetta.
No, but he has to have value, right?
He's on a very what's he like? Only getting like $9 million, so it's a very reasonable contract. Even like a Pittsburgh or a KC could take up that.
So what's his arm issue? Have they diagnosed it?
No, I think
they just call him a dead arm. He says he's got a dead arm.
Yeah,
good.
So we're getting close to the deadline. I think it's August 2nd now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got to make predictions here because this is happening. We're a weekly show, so
they've got to go one of two ways. Either they buy us, they get a first baseman, they get at least two relievers. I don't know how they do the swapping and the trading, but they get at least two relievers, one left, one right, maybe two rights and a left, and a first baseman. If they don't do that, then they may as well sell.
How about an outfielder too?
Look, they got a lot of prospects that are going to be eligible for the Rule 5 draft that they should pawn off if as opposed to losing them for
The
free.
4A type guys.
Yeah, they have a lot of these guys that can, they just had a draft, so they're going to bring in new guys. They actually have a huge amount of prospects. Red Sox don't need more prospects right now. Red Sox need guys who can
They
play.
need they got plenty of prospects, no good prospects though.
Well, look, that's the thing. I mean, a guy like Duran, who's been horrendous the last few weeks and is one of the worst outfielders in the history of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
What do you do with him?
Oh, you have to keep him. Because what's the alternative? Kike doesn't seem to want to come back. I think Kike's done for the year.
Does Duran have any value?
He has value to us, I thought, right? I mean, we've been waiting for this kid for a while, right?
And he hasn't panned out. Cases got hurt.
But is it a done deal though, Scotty? Is he reached his peak? I mean,
he's not an outfielder. See, that's the thing. I don't know what position you can put the guy in because he's clearly he's one of the worst outfielders.
He came up as a shortstop, Tim. But they all come up as shortstop.
Everyone's. My kid was a shortstop. Now he's an outfielder. I mean, most of these kids were the best kids in Little League and in high school, so they're their shortstops, right?
Yeah, and then they become corner outfielders or corner infielders, or you got some speed. You're a center fielder.
Yeah, that's the joke about the Red Sox draft in the last few days. All they did was draft shortstop.
But they take like 6 shortstops.
Yeah.
Well, the rule of thumb is shortstops can play anywhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're always
they're the best athletes, and they can convert to the other ones.
Yeah, wouldn't you agree?
But Duran can't though, apparently.
Shortstop in high school, most of these guys they drafted, I think, were prep guys.
They were.
Shortstop is the best position. Usually, it's the best player on the team, right?
I mean that means he can handle every ball that comes his way, right? I mean,
you have a strong arm. He's obviously got speed. If you're playing,
can read the ball.
Easy to convert him to the outfield, third base.
How does Duran not make the transition from shortstop to outfield? That's something you don't see too often.
I don't know. He seems like a better outfielder than Kike.
No.
I thought Kike was okay out there.
Kiki's okay.
Yeah, the stats on Duran are just terrible. The ball. Oh my God! They like negative WAR. The negative WAR on his defensive, is just ridiculous.
What is it? He just can't track balls.
He doesn't have a great arm though.
But neither did Johnny Damon. But he could get to the balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Johnny Damon was other than that, Johnny Damon was a 4.2 player. The kid had power, speed. This
kid has speed too, right? Though Duran.
Yeah, he does.
Wheels, right?
He's a big strikeout guy too, wasn't he? He in a streak
his power, Tim, seems to be all to center field. He's always hitting long balls to the warning track. He's got that warning track power because he hits straight away to center field, never pulls the ball, never slices the ball.
Wow. I mean, unfortunately for him, he's squaring up on the ball nicely, but to the deepest part of the park, that's terrible.
Yeah,
unfortunately for him,
Look, we've actually had some bad breaks in the minor league system. Tristan Casas, who should have already been up here playing first base, has had an ankle injury. And also the guy that I love, Nick York, who was a first-round pick a few years ago, he's been injured most of the season.
Wait a second. I just got a beautiful breeze coming through. Okay. There's hope.
I know, Jesus. It's been a 6-day heat wave, guys. 6 days.
Today
we don't like
first base thing has been terrible. Bobby Dahlbeck has been a complete failure season.
I know, complete.
We'll bring Franchi up and platoon them, and we'll mitigate the problem. Now Franchi stinks.
I'm not as knowledgeable about the minor league system. I mean, is it real to believe this is Hines' plan, this is Hines, and I can live with it, paying these ridiculous prices for the seats and the parking and the hot dogs and everything. If in 2 to 3 years, we're going to be contenders for 5 or 6 years, is that realistic to think with time?
Look, all you have to do is realize the Celtics playbook. They realized, and Brad Stevens realized it much more than Danny Ainge did. You need veterans if you want to win
Yeah.
championships. You need proven players. Look, a
They
Derek
cost
White,
money.
yeah, a Derek
Yeah.
White guy, you're more than happy to give up 2 first-round picks and stuff to get a
No,
legitimate
but Scotty,
guy.
that's the window dressing. Most of these teams, the basis of them are guys that come up through the system, like Golden State. Those are guys that mostly guys that were brought. The
Yeah.
Celtics are basically guys, and then you add, the window dressing around it. Most of these great teams are built through the draft, and then you decorate them with 3 or 4 superstars.
Yeah, but they're built through the draft to me with really high first-round picks.
Yeah.
We're talking about Tatum and Brown were
Yeah.
second and third in the draft. I mean, there's a small little window there.
You have to finish in last place a lot, to get those guys.
Yeah, a guy like LeBron, Michael Jordan, they don't last long.
But wasn't our farm system supposedly the tops in Major League Baseball in the not too distant future? And the not too distant past, I mean? Weren't we? Didn't we look like we were going in the right direction there?
We've always had a good farm system, but obviously guys like Dombrowski just in recent time pawned off a lot of these guys at the Kopics and the Makadas of the world to win a World Series. We've won 4 World Series, and we won these World Series with veterans, not young players.
But when we won it, we had 3 guys in the outfield who came up through the Red Sox, right?
Yeah, in 18.
We had a lot of guys that came up through the system on the team, right?
And the 18 team was, and they reached the maturity of the in their contract years all around the same time, so they all went their separate ways.
Yeah, like any championship team, you get rated after you win a championship team.
But this is a little different. We're talking about, yeah, I mean, 2/3 of the outfield just decided to stink. I mean, JBJ's, he's on the team. He's one of the worst players in Major League Baseball. Benintendi is disinterested. So, this didn't fold. This didn't develop further because these guys stink.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is.
The answer is a balance between superstars and young players, bringing up and look, we made mistakes in not signing Schwarber and keeping Hunter Renfroe. If you do those 2 things, then this is a completely different team.
Completely different team.
And we're talking at minimum probably 5 to 7 more victories right now, right?
So I'll go back to what I said. When Suzuki didn't come here, that was like the death sentence to the team, right?
Yeah, that was plan B, and that didn't work either.
The team got worse instead of better. Would you agree in the offseason?
Absolutely. And we were all so excited at the end of last year. The way they ended, it was very, very encouraging. And then things just fell apart. Hein blew it in this offseason.
What's John Henry's attitude right now? If you could give him a truth serum, what is he? And he had to focus on the Red Sox and not all his other investments right now. Where does he have great interest in what happens to his?
You'll have to ask him. No one gets an interview with him.
How much time? How many hours per day does John Henry think about the Red Sox?
I don't know. Hours per week,
minutes, seconds,
10 minutes.
It crosses his mind daily, I'm sure, but that's
compared to 10, 15 years ago.
Well, it all depends. When he's at a cocktail party at his house or something, he's in Brookline and people are talking Red Sox. If he's over in England on his yacht, they're talking Liverpool.
Do you think he takes the yacht across the pond over there?
Yes, he does.
He's not leaving it at the Boston Harbor Hotel anymore.
No. He pretty much lives on that yacht.
Well, I would too if I had that yacht.
Well, look, I've been saying that I wanted John Henry to sell for a long time, and it's getting louder from the fan base. Does John Henry sell the Red Sox in the next 3 years?
No.
I hope he does.
And
no, he's building. He's building. He's not selling. He's buying.
No,
right?
This Fenway. That's why it's called the Fenway Sports Group.
Yeah. And just another trinket on his bracelet. You know what I mean?
Just another line item on the portfolio.
Yeah.
And he's going to keep it in his portfolio as long as even when it loses money, like the Globe,
It's
he
still
doesn't care. He writes it off.
it's still the gem of his portfolio, right?
I don't know. Probably in Liverpool,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Joe said, when he's in England, it's Liverpool. When it's here,
No, but in
And
realistic
if he's down
terms,
south, it's the NASCAR team.
but in realistic terms, the Red Sox would have to be the marquee line item on that portfolio.
you would think that the Red Sox are
Yes.
worth the most of
They
worth more
they
than
are
And
they
carry
are worth the most.
the name. There's a lot of. I just caught a cigar and made it. That was pretty good.
Well, it's called the Fenway Sports Group for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'd have to change their name.
So there's a guy who is part owner. I don't know how much percentage he has of the Fenway Sports Group. Is a guy named Lebron James. I don't know if you've heard of him. And
We had a couple things to say about Boston this week.
LeBron James decided that as an owner of the part owner of the Boston Red Sox, to call Boston a effing racist city. And what do you guys
I
think
know
about
he
that?
said Celtics fans in particular.
Well,
know what's
no,
funny?
he said Boston. He said Boston. He said-
Boston Celtics fans. He
Oh,
said.
okay. No, come on, Joe.
Time.
Okay. So what is that? So what? So I don't understand. So who goes to Boston Celtics games?
Oh yeah, I don't think he was making any distinction. He was just saying what the interviewer there, what's his name, was talking about, and he said Celtics fans were.
He contributed it. Nobody asked him.
If LeBron could come up with some personal that happened to him when he was in the city, I might give him a little more validity, give some validity to that statement. But I didn't hear him bring up any instances where anything occurred to him. So
I'd never heard it.
know where it's
LeBron
coming
complain about the Celtics fans before this. Had
So,
you?
no. Why is he getting a free pass in that?
it seems to be the cool
I
thing
don't
now to
think he's
call
got
Boston.
one.
Because it's I don't know if he's getting a free pass. I've heard it brought up on several media outlets. It seems to be the chic thing now to call Boston the racist town. I mean, everyone just says it and they get away with it. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I mean, I don't see much of it, but I'm a white guy.
In
so what do I
NBA
know?
circles, that seems to be, the Boston is the stereotypical racist city in NBA. You don't hear it in the NFL, MLB, or the NHL.
Now, I don't know if that comes from, if you walk around most major cities in the United States, you see a lot more people of color in town Boston, in the major city, You walk around Boston, it's a pretty white city, I mean, maybe that's where some of this comes from. I don't know.
Well, I think it's because Boston is probably the most segregated city in the country.
It's very segregated. Absolutely.
Well, I just think there's, as representing the Red Sox and the ownership, to say that whether
I'll give my one story here. I had a black roommate in college who was from the Philadelphia area, and I went down to stay with his family for a weekend, and it was a neighborhood. I don't know, like I wouldn't say Wellesley quite that, but it was a very, very nice neighborhood, and it was a black neighborhood. And I had never seen anything like that in Boston. You know what I mean? It was like the only black neighborhoods that I knew about were kind of downtrodden parts of the city. There are other parts of the country where there are upper middle class black neighborhoods, and we don't see that in Boston. So maybe that's where some of it's coming from. I don't know.
Well, I just think that, as a representative of the ownership group of the Boston Red Sox, I just think that it wasn't the right time or place to say that, and I just didn't. I just don't think it's fair to. It's stereotypical, and I don't think it's fair to anybody.
I don't think he was thinking of his relationship with the Boston Red Sox and the Fenway Sports Group when he shot his mouth off, obviously.
I wonder if he could pull those words back right now, if he could do it,
Oh, he would.
When he saw that
cat's out of
it
the
might
bag.
it might affect his pocketbook. That changes most people's decisions.
Yeah. Oh, just like it changed his position in China on human rights, remember?
Oh, yeah, he was, he told them that, it wasn't so bad over there, and those guys were doing a great job, and that Daryl Morey should keep
as long
his
as they kept paying him.
Yeah, Morey should keep his mouth shut because, I know.
Well, we all get to talk with our dollars, boys. So
I would just say that I think you guys agree. It was a really bad week for the Red Sox ownership group.
Oh yeah, all the way around.
And
well, what do we do? We keep going, don't we? We keep watching. We keep going.
But we got to, that's why we're all waiting to see what Heim does this trade deadline. Is it buy or sell? And there are people who are going to buy and sell on their tickets.
Listen, I don't care. I don't care if they get Devers, but they better get somebody for that money. You know what I mean? Like, give me a $40 million a year, 10-year guy on this team, whether it's Devers or somebody comparable to Devers. Do not leave us without somebody. I don't care where they spend the money. Spend the money, though.
But look, the Red Sox could quickly go down to third in this town if they're not careful.
Yeah, where are they in the wild card now?
2 games out.
They're a game and a half out of last place. A game and a half separates them in last place.
Wow.
Yeah, this could go south really quickly, and it's going to go south if you continue to field the team, a lineup with Bobby Dahlbeck, JBJ, Christian Arroyo, Duran, Frenchie Cordero. I mean, this is.
And Vasquez is starting his annual swoon from being used too much. He's going from 320. He'll be down around 245 by the season's end, guaranteed.
Now, in any other job, in any other business, the owner is looking at the president of this operation, and they're looking at the stock price, they're looking at the revenue, they're looking at the sales. Do you think Heinz feeling any of that heat right now?
He will.
Well, I think that he was focusing on the draft, and now he has to start focusing again. The thing he hates the most on the 25-man roster.
Yeah. The major league roster. He just doesn't like dealing with it.
Or are they saying, hey, we were 2 games from the World Series last year?
No,
give us a break. What more do you guys want?
A strike call from the World Series.
That is so far.
Pavetta gets that call. That's
that's so far away from their consciousness right now. I think. All right. So let's just go because it's coming close, and we got to get out of the Red Sox. I'm going to give you the list.
Thank God.
Xander, here or gone?
He's gone.
Joe?
I'm afraid he's gone.
Traded. Okay. JD Martinez, is he traded?
He's the guy I hope they keep because that guy just keeps on hitting. And I don't know who you replace him with.
So is he here or gone because he's a free agent after this year? Is he here or gone?
If Xander's gone, he's gone.
So
he's gone.
If you either got to go one way or the other, either you're a seller or a buyer.
I think he's actually the easiest guy to trade right now because teams can identify if they have DH needs right now, and that's a position to fill.
If I was another team, I would love to get you. And I'm a contender. I would love to put JD by
Tim. He's been pretty bad the last month or two.
Yeah, but we know what he is. He
has put up some.
He hits.
He hits.
He's a professional.
Put him in the lineup in any order in this planet. He's good.
I don't know. He can't hit the fastball lately.
Okay,
they've been blowing it by him.
Okay, Evaldi, here or gone?
Yeah.
He seems healthy. I'd keep him. I don't know who you got. Who do you replace him with?
Okay, well you could always re-sign him. Walker, here or gone?
Joe, I'll let you go.
Yeah, he's here. I mean, no one's going to take him.
Joe, you're completely wrong about that. Walker's a guy that people would salivate.
Why did no one want him back in the offseason?
I mean, I know nobody wanted him now. They would salivate on him. I'm telling you. Rich Hill.
No one wants him.
Get a bag of balls.
Yeah.
Kiki, probably his season's over. He would have probably got you something good, right?
Yeah, and when it's a hip, who knows if he ever plays again.
It was 8 months ago, Kiki was a god in the city.
Yeah.
Vasquez. Stay or go.
They got to re-sign him. It's a position of value.
They got nobody else.
You count on one hand how many good catchers there are in the major league.
Yeah, they have to sign him. There's nobody.
That position's gone to hell.
There's no
good ones
to put there. There's nobody to put there. You got no choice.
All right, all right, we're done for the Red Sox.
Thank you.
We
Thank
gave
you
them a
for
lot. We
mercifully
gave them
ending
all
that.
we had tonight. We gave them all we had. All right, going to the Patriots. So much hype this week, and I love it on Mac Daddy.
Oh, next week they'll
Everybody's
report.
just talking Mac Daddy up as well. They should. I saw something today where you're talking already top 5 quarterback. Boys, I know you're on
Top
the
5 quarterback. Where is that coming from?
Well,
I mean,
Tim, stop and think. They have stocked that team around them. They got 2 great running backs. The only team with a better running back situation is Cleveland with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's the only team that even competes with them there. They've got 2 quality tight ends.
I
Say
can
what
name
you want
10
about John.
quarterbacks.
He blocks like crazy. They've got a top 5 offensive line. The wide receivers, we'll wait and see on these guys.
They've
But
improved the wide
they've
receiver.
really
Tell
put
me
a
this-
team around him.
Tell me who this top offensive line is, Joe.
Well, you got Andrews, Trent Brown.
Andrews top. You're telling top? Come on. He's
When
a
you
bottom. He's
when
a,
you
wait,
said a
wait,
top,
wait, wait.
Trent Brown.
Andrews is a bottom third of the league center right now. Okay.
no.
Oh, come on.
He's not. That's not true at all. I don't know.
He's undersized. Come on. Who else?
He's just. You're right, Tim, in that he's just another guy, but he knows how to make the calls. He's established. He knows how to work with his teammates from either side of him.
So we
there's
don't
a
even
lot
know.
of pluses to Andrew
We don't even.
above
we don't
that.
we don't even know if Wynn's going to make the team, right?
He's already made the team. They paid him the
Uh,
option.
Is he our left? Is he our starting left tackle?
Yes.
How can we say top offensive line when Wynn's our starting offensive tackle?
When Wynn plays, he can play pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
actually,
They've already
well.
they've already stashed the 2 offensive linemen they drafted, other than the number 1 kid. Yeah, that's going to play left guard.
I'm not ready to jump up and down right now about our offensive line guys.
Well, look, Owenu is a top guard in NFL. He has been since he's entered the league 2 years ago. Cole Strange, he's your number 1 pick to draft a guy.
You picked him for a reason, and Dante Scarnecchia personally selected him.
Is Dante back this year, or is he still retired?
He's just an advisor. He always goes to the Senior Bowl and he picks his favorite guy every year, and that's who they drafted.
I would drive Dante personally. I would pick him up every morning at 5 a.m. and bring him to practice. If he
He's 70 years old. He doesn't
I
want
don't
to go
care.
there.
He's only 9 years older than me. I can do it.
He goes there once. He goes there like once a week.
I'll buy him breakfast. I'll rub his toes after his feet are sore. You know, I mean, that guy just makes magic out of mud when he's around. You can see the drop off when he leaves. You know.
But the people out here, if you know Tim Hoey, you know that what he's saying is absolutely the truth. And he would absolutely.
I will do it. I will do it. I'll put the lotion on his feet. Rub those bunions and.
Oh wow! Can you come over and rub my bunions? Oh, that's awesome! And then go to Joe's house and
Scotty, Mac Jones, top 5 quarterback. Are you insane? Are you insane?
No, he won't be.
I think that Mac
might be
Jones
5th in the AFC East.
No, you've got to be kidding.
What are you smoking up in
No,
Maine?
he'll be second in the AFC East. They put him behind Josh Allen, but got to be better than Tua and the kid from the Jets.
Oh my God! Did you guys watch
the Jets? I'll give you that.
Did you guys watch last season? Are you guys going to get
Scott,
just
he was
on tape delay for you guys?
He was micromanaged. They gave him little. I'm not knocking the kid, Scotty, but let's not put him up on the pedestal quite yet. You know,
he is one of the most accurate passers when guys are open, that I've ever seen before. I don't remember him maybe missing 1 or 2 passes the whole season when guys were wide open.
I do, but he did great as a rookie. I think he'll do great for a second-year guy. But second-year guys, even when they're great, aren't as good as guy, like an 8-10-year veteran. Just not that.
There's a lot of good quarterbacks in this league, and we've seen them. I don't know if he's quite.
And there's a lot of them in the AFC too. That AFC West is loaded for bear now.
Yes.
The guy is as tough as nails. He's as tough as nails. I even second year, he's tougher than Tom Brady was at this point.
Hey, I hope
he
he's
is.
great. I hope he's great, Scott. I do, but I got to see a little more.
I think they're setting him up for success. It just they got to work on that defense. There's not much there. And
well, I have to be honest with you, Joe. I thought last year that we had a top 5 defense, and that proved to be wrong. I think we actually have a bottom 5 defense now. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say bottom 5, but it's easily exploited.
You know what a lot of this is for me? That Buffalo game left such a bad taste in my mouth. It's like traumatizing. It's hard to get past it. Every time I want to think positive thoughts about the Patriots, I'm reminded of that game, and then I'm crushed again.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you have no pass rush. They can sit there back there and pick you apart. Same thing happened just a few years ago in the Super Bowl. Remember Philadelphia? A backup quarterback scored 51 points on us.
I mean, Josh, the Bills really should have. The Bills really should have been in the Super Bowl if it wasn't for that insane ending to that game.
Oh, the coach isn't such a complete moron.
Yeah, well, he's a big show off, that guy. I don't know what he's showing off on, but look, if after a game like that, the worst defensive performance in the history of playoff football, how you didn't completely turn over that defense is I can't understand it. The fact is that they didn't really make any big moves defensively to change.
And we lost J.C. Jackson, so we're probably a little worse, right? We lost the best one of the best defenders on the team, so we're worse than we were. We were bad.
Are we supposed to believe that Ronnie Perkins, McGrone, and
all these guys who didn't play last year at all are going to be good? I really can't buy it.
Right. I mean, I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to make some moves. They actually have, I believe, they have multiple picks in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, maybe, or 3rd. I know they have multiple picks in a few rounds. I think they're going to have to use some of these picks to get some players before the season starts.
They need some defensive linemen that can rush the quarterback. Simple. They have no rush at all, except when they stunt and they get a linebacker free. You got to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. You got to make him throw it a second earlier, half second earlier. You can't let him sit back there and pick you apart.
We saw with the Rams, they had that tremendous pass rush and won them a Super Bowl.
And they have such a slow defense. I mean, they didn't get faster at all.
Well, they got faster just by taking Hightower, Van Noy, and Collins off the field.
Right, exactly. But right, and they were pretty much useless.
But they did. They seem to be going in another direction. They seem to be going. They were always 260 pound linebackers. Now they're going for 225 pound guys. So it's more like Phillipses and Duggars as your linebackers.
You're going to see a lot of guys, linebackers, tackling guys after 8-yard gains.
Yeah, what I worry about is those running backs coming out of the backfield to passes against our slow linebackers.
Yeah,
the 4th and 5th option was what killed you in that Buffalo game. Yeah. They took away the first couple options from Allen, but then Allen just picked them apart with the 4th and 5th guys.
Yeah, those running backs in the flat that our slow linebackers can't keep up with, and then they get all sorts of space to run with, after they get the ball.
What's going to be the biggest surprise of the camp, Joe?
Oh, geez, the biggest surprise of the camp. Oh, that the defense will actually look good, even though it isn't. The writers will be talking about how it's rejuvenated and all that bullshit.
Oh, because they're sitting there
best shape of their life. You know the whole thing.
I know,
yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, they really worked out hard over the summer. They really worked on. They were running hills and tipping over big giant tires all summer. They're ready.
The kid Flowers that played well for us. Remember, then went to Detroit. Trey Flowers? Is he still a free agent?
I think he's washed up if no one has signed him. He must be. There must be something wrong. No one has shown any
Yeah,
interest
because
in him.
He was a tough bastard in his day.
yeah, and there were rumors that he was coming back, and then I didn't hear anything.
Maybe it's his agent that's holding things up, that wants more money than the teams are willing to offer for a retread, you know?
Well,
He's
it's tough
been
to be.
nice,
It's tough to be an aging NFL player, isn't it? Boy, these guys literally live hand to mouth, year to year.
Yeah, they lose a step and they're finished. All right, we go
That-
to the Boston Celtics. They did not use the TPE. Why did they trade it?
I saw all sorts of crazy write-ups because they got Brogdon and this and that. That they were doing the math and it made sense not to do it. I didn't really understand it, to tell you the truth.
But couldn't you have traded it, Joe?
I think you could, but as of right now, before they have offered Grant Williams a contract, they are, I think, 5th in the league in the
Payroll.
luxury tax. I'm not sure about payroll, Tim, but I know as far as how much you're going to have to pay in luxury tax, they're
All right,
in
have we
5th place.
gotten to the space yet where we say in Brad we trust?
Oh, I have.
Sure, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
look at this.
he didn't use it. Maybe there's a good reason. We give him a hall pass.
Well, Tim, there's still 2 other trade exceptions that they own. One's like 8 million, another one's like 5 point something million. So if they did choose to grab an end of the roster type big man from someone, they could use those.
Were we
They
talking
just-
about Dwight Howard last week, right?
Yeah, I
I-
like.
I
yeah,
think he would fit under the one, at least one of those trade exceptions.
Is he an $8 million a year guy?
no, they're paying
No.
a lot less than that. It'd really
So
be.
he would fit under the trade exception. You just give the Lakers a 2nd round pick because they need something to package with Russell Westbrook to get Kyrie over there.
Scotty, I don't know if you remember. I think me and you went to the Celtics game against the Lakers. Did me and you go to that game?
No.
But we were joking. I don't know if we were texting. They owe this dude 47. He missed shot after shot after shot, turnover after turnover. And the whole game, I just thought they got to pay this dude $47.5 million.
It's almost like $50 million they owe him.
$47.5 million. Oh my God!
Look, the
They,
league.
they couldn't give him away to anybody.
The league, ESPN, TNT. No, they all want the Lakers to be a legitimate team so bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They will change the rules.
Hey, did you hear
TV contract is alone just for the Lakers.
the big thing on the ESPN and all that, those guys that talk all day for sports and get paid millions of dollars, unlike us, we do it for the love of it. They're all talking that LeBron, AD, and Russell had a conference call this week, and they decided that they're all in. They're all in together, and they're gonna
Yeah, I know.
they're gonna join thumbs or pinkies or whatever, and
Yeah, right.
play as a unit, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
on the other side, LeBron's trying to get him brushed out the back door any way he can.
Yeah. And they'll have to pack, the Lakers are telling the Nets, oh, you got to give us something with Kyrie because you want to get rid of Kyrie. And the Nets are saying,
If I'm the Nets,
you want to
I don't-
get rid of Russell Westbrook, so you got to give us something to take.
If I'm the Nets, I don't move an inch. If those guys actually play, they could be pretty good, especially with who's that shooter they
Simmons.
got there? No,
Well,
not
not-
who's
no.
who's the shooter that was injured? Collins, is that his name?
Seth Curry.
No, who's the shooter? The white guy there that was out. He missed. He's a good 3-point shooter for the Nets.
The Nets stink.
Mm.
Tim, what are you
No.
talking about? Come on.
Well, they need a coach, someone who can put those guys together.
And they need some height.
That's a tough job. That's
Yeah,
some
as-
tough
as we saw in the
personnel.
playoffs, they had no height at all. Simmons might help that a little bit, but
They're undersized. They old. You think KD doesn't play any defense last year? Didn't play. What do you think he's going to play more defense this year? Come on, they can't even get through the regular season.
that's all they talk about 24/7 right now is KD. I guess there's nothing else to talk about. You know what's weird? The Celtics are never mentioned on any of these shows. I watch them kind of religiously. It's like the Celtics were in the finals.
No.
They're not even in the conversation.
Well, I know as far as the betting odds are, they are the odds-on favorite to win the championship next year. You're not getting much in the way
never
of
know
odds.
that watching ESPN or any of these shows.
That's because all they want to do is cover the Lakers and the New York team.
And the New York teams, yeah.
Yeah,
that's all they get.
Well, because they want ratings, and New York and LA drive the ratings for them.
Paul Pierce said he quit ESPN or fired, whatever. He said because they were telling him all they wanted him to do was talk about the Lakers.
It had nothing to do with that video that you posted on social media.
It had nothing to do with that.
Somebody was playing butt bongo in the background.
That is a really cool video. I watched that a number of times because I could process it, but I wanted to.
ESPN was very proud of that. They didn't fire him because of that.
No, are you kidding me? Can you imagine what goes on in that Bristol, Connecticut? Oh my
God!
Oh my God!
We saw a slight glimmer of an NBA player's life, for one split second there.
Oh my! I know. I got tired just watching the video. I don't know how they do that, but he seemed very happy, and that's the most important thing.
I like Paul Pierce a lot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Paul Pierce, he's a true Celtic, and he's one of the toughest son of a bitches I've ever seen play basketball.
He used to go head to head with Lebron every year, head to head.
The most impressive part, when we had those bad teams, he would still drive to the basket, and he took a beating every night.
Sacrifice his body.
Oh my God. And we had we're winning like 25, 30 games a year, and still that guy would drive the basket and they would crush him.
We watched the maturity of Paul Pierce. We watched a boy become a man before our eyes.
Yeah, real clutch guy too. Yeah. All right, we finish up with the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins can acquire guys, and I don't know any of them. And
neither do I, Scotty, and I follow the sport.
Well, they're not going to acquire many people, because if they sign Bergeron and Krejci and Pasternak, they're not bringing on anyone else new, right? They'll be over the salary cap before they even begin the season.
I think we're going to see some new defensemen coming up. I can't name names, but I think we're going to see some defensemen coming up from Providence this year.
They should have got that Johnny Hockey.
Oh, I love him.
Johnny.
I'll tell you a story. When I used to play, and you'd hear all this publicity about an opposing player, I'd say, if I do nothing else tonight, that guy's getting it. I'm gonna paste him at some point in the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I went to a Beanpot game, and Johnny Hockey, when he took his helmet off the Beanpot, he looked like he was 11 years old. Right? He's like 5'7", 5'8", probably $140 soaking wet. And they were playing against Northeastern, and Northeastern's defense averaged like 6'3", like 230 across the board. There wasn't a guy under that out of 6 defensemen. They didn't lay a glove on him the whole game. They couldn't find him. They couldn't catch him. He is so freaking talented, and I would have loved to see him in. And what do they get? $10 million a year? I mean, the Bruins can't pony that up.
I think you got 9.
9. Come on. Come on. Columbus can afford him. We can't. I'd trade half the team to get him.
Well, he wanted out of Calgary bad, I think.
Yeah. Well, he wanted out of Canada.
The Canadian dollar is not doing too good these days, right?
But to go to Columbus?
Well, he's in the U.S. anyway.
Hey, Columbus is a college town. He'll have a lot of fun there.
So, I mean, is there any buzz for the Bruins for this upcoming season? I mean,
there's always buzz.
No one knows what they're doing.
We're gonna go, and we're gonna pay, and we're gonna watch. Just how it is every year.
I know,
they seem to be getting the old band back together again, and they didn't have they weren't good enough 2 years ago. They weren't good enough last year. Why get them back together?
They have a hard enough time keeping their stars. Never mind going out and getting other ones.
Yeah.
Like.
Well,
it all goes back. It all goes back to the draft, the lousy drafts. That's what it all goes back to. They got to get better at picking players.
Well, the buzz. I'm telling you that once they announced the David Krejci signing, you just watch the line for tickets. It's going to be like old school. It's going to be like 1980 Springsteen.
They haven't signed him or Bergeron. That might change. That might be a fluid situation. They sign Pasternak and they say to the other two, sorry, we don't have any money now.
My only hope is a resurgence of that Krejci Hall connection that we saw a little taste of.
Oh, you're right, Timmy. You wax poetic about those 8 goals, Timmy. Oh my God! I hope that keeps you warm at night.
I'll be a lemming, just going to my seat, finding
That didn't
free
score a
parking,
goal in the finals. I remember
finding my
that
free
bunch.
parking spot near the garden and making my cold walk down the hill and going in just like the hockey lemming that I am, and rooting for the black and gold and praying that they pick up a guy who can fight.
All right. On that note, it's at the end of the show. Remember, guys, Spotify, the Grandstanders, everybody's listening. It's now required listening in.
I think we had a million hits last week, Scott.
All public schools starting in September. It'll be required listening. So that's very exciting. I want to thank Ian, who does always such a great job behind the scenes. I want to thank the fellas. So again, please check us out on Spotify. Follow us. It'll be life-changing for you, your children, any future children. Now, that's the show for
today. I think he had college credits for listening, actually.
Exactly. That's the show tonight. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.